everything is branded. Everything I do is branded, and that I did learn from Vince.
That feels like it's right out of Vince McMahon's playbook.
Yeah.
Do you still keep in touch with Vince?
Not at all.
So that, like, you're saying you've closed the door on going back to WWE.
Won't ever happen.
What specifically happened?
So I went back in 2017.
Yeah.
And I kind of instantly knew this is not really where I need to be, where I want to be, but it was a nice bridge between ESPN and what the next full-time thing was going to be. So in my personal life, I was moving to California, so I didn't really know what I was going to do next. And so I went back, and it was fun, but the people I worked with on the shows, I don't know what it was, but didn't really want me to be there. So when I got switched to the pre-show, that was fun because that was just once a month I had to show up, and that was cool. But then I missed, and part of the reason, and this is so Vince, when they called me and they said, hey, we'd love for you to come back, I said, I'm already doing golf. So I had 5 events already booked. And I said, I'm missing the shows that week. And I'm like, oh, no problem, until it was a problem. And so I missed 1 show in 10 years in my first run. I missed 5 shows in the first 7 months of my second run. But I think everybody would agree, and the schedule has changed now, they were running people into the ground. Nobody should be working 52 weeks a year. Nobody. They shouldn't be having new shows 52 weeks a year. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And everybody inside WWE says it. They just don't want to admit it. But no company should work that way. But for me, what it was, I'll just be honest with you, Chris, is they came to me and they said, XFL 2020, and Vince needs somebody there that he trusts that can do it the right way. So I was flying from California to New York every week to do the pre-show, and because they hired a lot of people that never worked for him before. So I trust Vince implicitly. Like, I've done so much for him, with him. Everybody knows that. And so you turn in invoices, right? Well, I didn't turn mine in right away because I'd worked for him for 20 years. He had always paid me.
Sure.
Right? So COVID happens, and I have a fairly large check, and I hold on to it for a couple of days. I go put it in the bank. It bounces.
Wow.
It bounces. And so I called or texted a high executive there, and I got a response, oh, that's a lot of money. I said, I agree. I agree. I said, can you just call Vince and let's take care of this quietly? No big deal.
Yeah.
And ghosted me.
Wow.
Absolutely ghosted me. And, you know, Vince has the amount of money in his back pocket. You know what I mean? And it really hit me hard. And it wasn't the money. It was the process. You know what I mean? And I sat there. I'll never forget, Chris. I sat there one day, and I'm sitting there going, man, they really bounced a check to me? Oh, I did get a second text. It was like, oh, that's another company. I don't think there's anything we can do. So basically telling me people I'd worked with for 20 years, oh, that's the XFL. It's not the WWE. There's no, but the same guy owns the two.
Yeah.
Right? And everything was a crossover. So that to me was a complete slap in the face. But some people there just don't care. And I'm not going to name names. It's not my style. But even to this day, and anybody that watches this interview will agree with me because it's true, there are certain people, and they're usually the ones that get the biggest bonuses, that do not care what happens below them. And I had literally done everything I had ever been asked to do. And this is how you're going to treat me. And literally, they didn't care. They did not care. And I even gave it months because they were going through. Remember, there was no shows. The company's losing money. I felt for all of that. But then 8 months later, when you start advertising, biggest year we've ever had financially, making all this money, and then you can't make things right.
Yeah.
So again, that's why I've never really talked about it. I've mentioned it in a couple of interviews, but I can't, at this point in my life, I can't work for people like that.
Yeah.
I cannot work for people who do not care about human beings to the point that in a spot where you really need it, because we all lost our jobs during COVID. And that's when you're going to decide to go, let's just turn our back on a guy who's been loyal for 20 years. Like, to a point, the things that I've done for that company really would blow your mind.
Yeah.
I was 100% loyal, but they were not loyal to me. And that's it.